What's up, friends? Welcome in to another week of Rock Chalk Sports, ESPN Kansas City and KansasNation.com. What a weekend it was at Hoglund Ballpark, and you know we're talking KU baseball here in the opening segment. For the first time ever, Kansas is on to the Super Regionals of the NCAA Tournament. Kansas, back in 1993, did go to the College World Series. There wasn't the Super Regional round, as there were 48 teams back in the day, and they had 8 different regional sites. Different story now with 16 different regional sites, and Kansas advances. They sweep their way through the Lawrence Regional, and now they go to the round of 16. We're pre-recording the show right now, but if you're watching this on KansasNation.com, live on Facebook, live on YouTube, or listening on ESPN Kansas City, you're in the middle of a Georgia Tech-Oklahoma game that will decide not necessarily the fate, but the location of the Super Regional. If Oklahoma wins, Kansas will host the Sooners for a best-of-3 series next weekend at Hoglund Ballpark. If Georgia Tech wins, then Kansas will head to the Peach State to take on the Yellow Jackets. And just unbelievable season continues for Kansas baseball. Going to get into that in the opening segment. Dan, busy weekend at Hoglund. So much emotion. We'll get into the nuts and bolts, and I'll run through everything that we're going to talk about during this show, but just talk about the experience of being over there. I mean, it was so cool seeing the backyard and just seeing the vibes, the students, opposing fans, the energy, the passion of Jayhawk baseball fans like we've truly never seen.
Yeah, I think the backyard was better than anyone probably anticipated. I know the first day on Friday, people were, complaining a little bit because there's that blue bar kind of right in the line of sight. But, people were standing, people were crouching, and, it was electric, honestly. And there was, home runs being hit out there. There was grown men tackling children for home run balls. And it was just awesome. Everybody that I talked to who was out in the backyard just said it was the absolute best time that they've ever had. Excellent job by Kansas Athletics for, expanding the seating. Kansas also, broke a couple of attendance records as well. Obviously, with the expanded seating, you had the standing room area only. That was for alumni over there on the third base line. So that was really cool to see. And then, obviously the backyard as well. And the entire place was just jam-packed full with people. And I kind of like the fact that, so the press box at Hoglund is not super big. So what they had to do was, for overflow, they had to put everybody on that very, back row right in front of the press box. So I was actually out in the bleachers. I still had a table and everything out in the bleachers, and I like that more because you actually get to feel the environment, and you felt, there was, I can probably count into double digits the times where I got like actual goosebumps on my arms from crowd pops that happened over this past weekend. It was absolutely incredible. And, Kansas being able to get the sweep, not only, beating Northeastern, but beating Arkansas twice, an SEC team, and their fans were coming in talking all this trash on our stadium, and it was the best atmosphere I can only imagine throughout the entirety of the NCAA regionals.
Yeah, totally. And we're going to talk about kind of the Hogs fans and where they sit after all that trash talking. I think they probably feel a little bit different about Hoglund Ballpark than they did beforehand because, KU, credit the administration, man. They were able to expand seating. They were able to make capacity closer to 4,000, 4,500, and KU fans filled it up. Yeah, when I was over there, I got to do a little bit of walking around different vantage points from the new Hoglund, if you will, the newly reimagined
yes.
Hoglund. So spent some time in the backyard and down the third base left field line, kind of getting a feel for the fans out there. And it's just, it was something that I don't think we ever knew was even possible, honestly. Kansas baseball, and this isn't meant to be disrespectful, but Kansas baseball kind of was what it was. And what it was, the season after basketball season, and then you kind of bridge into
something to talk about.
Bridge into the summer, and then you've got football coming up, and you got to get excited for football. And it just flat out is a completely different beast right now. And I know we've said it a million times on the show, but it's worth mentioning again. Dan Fitzgerald has completely turned this program around, and certainly now, I'm not going to say they've reached heights that they've never reached before, because they did go to the College World Series in that 48-team field. They advanced out of the 6-team regional back in '93 and went to Omaha. So wouldn't be the first time if Kansas advances to Omaha, but first time in this particular round in this size of an NCAA tournament, Kansas into the Super Regionals. We're going to break down the weekend that was, highlighting yesterday's win against Arkansas here in the opening segment. Going to hear a post-game press conference, 2 parts, actually, hearing from Coach Fitz and some Jayhawks here in the second segment. And then we're going to be joined in studio, Nick Springer, Kansas City Sports Network. He joins us every Monday. He'll give his take on the experience that was at Hoglund Ballpark and the success of KU. Dan, always got to do our Case of the Mondays segment. A lot of college baseball stuff on there. Yeah. What else is on tap?
I got some college softball stuff on there as well. I have Arsenal, little soccer talk before
talk soccer
before the World Cup.
I know we haven't been able to talk as much World Cup. KU baseball being so good has extended that season, and World Cup's going to be here in 10 days.
Yeah, that's been obviously massive for us. But I have some different things, some Sun Belt Conference stuff. I have Alaskan politics on here. A really interesting story coming out of Alaskan politics, Alaska's Senate race, as well as their mayoralship as well.
I love you keeping your thumbprint on this, man.
I have my finger on the pulse, especially with Alaskan politics. I know all about it.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, fair enough.
I got a lot of good stuff there in Case of Mondays. A lot of stuff happened, obviously, in the world. And no show on Friday, so works out.
The Royals went down to Arlington and lost. They lost 3 straight games to the Texas Rangers. They are terrible right now. And are there going to be wholesale changes? I don't know, but it's completely fair to say the Royals are terrible. We're going to be joined tomorrow by David Lesky inside the Crown to tell us what he's feeling about the future of this team, because it's slipping away. Even though it's just June 1st, I mean, the season's slipping away from the Royals. That's how bad it has been. But to close out the show, we're going to do a holistic outlook on the NCAA bracket, because now, I mean, we usually, for basketball season, have if this team beats this team and this team, and it's a little bit different for regional. You can't necessarily map it out as well, but when it gets to 16, you very much can map it out, because it's a best-of-3 series against either Georgia Tech or Oklahoma, and then, the winner of that takes on Kansas, and then whoever wins that game today, I should say, takes on Kansas, and then if Kansas advances, they go to the College World Series, which is where you want to be when you're playing college baseball. Incredible what's been done here at KU. And let's get into that. Yesterday was kind of the clincher for KU, 13-10 over Arkansas. Kansas defeated Northeastern 6-3 on Friday, and then they defeated Arkansas 5-3 on Saturday. Yesterday, it was a situation where it was technically the regional final, but it was one of those, if Kansas loses, then you're going to play again on Monday. Yeah, so a little bit of a pushback on Arkansas advancing, because Kansas has to lose twice. And KU went into that game with a record of 2-0, and Arkansas was 2-1. Hogs actually had to really battle one out against Northeastern earlier in the day, which isn't nothing. Yeah. They beat Northeastern, but they ran out of arms. They didn't play sound baseball in the second game, and I don't think that that's nothing. I mean, defensively, they weren't there. They still scored a lot of runs against Kansas. But it was KU, despite getting down 5-0 after 3 innings, coming back and winning 13-10. A lot to get into specifically, but just another come-from-behind win. KU scored 11 unanswered runs in this game. And again, I'm glad that not only Kansas advances when they're matched up with Arkansas because of the issues that happened in the 23 NCAA tournament in basketball, 25 NCAA tournament basketball, the 22 Liberty Bowl, all that. But they did it by beating Arkansas and beating them twice. So they earned it. A very good, storied SEC program. Jayhawks take them down.
Yeah, they proved it, right? I mean, you beat Arkansas the first game, and then, I saw some Arkansas fans on Twitter being like, yeah, but you're not going to beat us again, blah, 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 whatever, And then, Kansas absolutely proved it. Kansas got down really early. Matisse Nairel did not have a good outing yesterday. I mean, it's just unfortunate. Those kind of things happen. And, he's your Sunday guy, not necessarily your best pitcher. But at the same time, you did a really good job at managing the pitching staff because of the fact that you only had to use a few guys, right? Where you had Dom go on Friday, and then you only had to use Dom and Bodie on Friday against Northeastern. So you need 2 guys there. Saturday comes along. Mason Cook does an excellent job. Only gave up 3 hits, couple of runs here and there. And then you had to bring in Ryan Ritter and then Bodie Ray again. So you only used 3 pitchers there, including Bodie, which you used on Friday. So Sunday comes around, you have really your entire bullpen that you're able to use. Arms that we haven't seen in a long time, right? Toby Scheidt came in. He wasn't great. Manning West came in. He was awesome. He was absolutely incredible. Had a massive outing in his two and a quarter or 3 innings pitched or whatever it was for Manning West. Pitching staff, obviously, really good job in terms of managing that, making sure that we have the guys ready, the bullpen ready, their arms are feeling okay, because that was the main thing about Arkansas, is that they didn't have a lot of pitching depth, right? We saw their 2 best pitchers. We saw Hunter Dietz and we saw McIlvain. McIlvain, by the way, he was a closer. He hadn't started since like his freshman year of college.
ERA just over 1.
And that's the thing. He was by far and away their best pitcher, but he's only able to do it in 2 to 3 innings, right? He hasn't been stretched out to 6 or 7 in a couple of years, right? So the arm strength is there early, but the stamina isn't. And you kind of felt that in the 4th inning whenever Kansas just hopped all over them. The 4th inning was a 6-run game, or 6-run inning for Kansas. And like you said, 11 straight unanswered runs, just incredible stuff. Started off with a Dario Osorio home run. All of a sudden, it's 5-1, and you go, okay, this is going all right. You know, next thing you know, you had a couple of RBIs, and then Tyson LeBlanc, 3-run blast, and then an inning later, you had Josh Dykhoff with another 3-run blast as well. I mean, the bats got really hot, and you've seen it all year. These guys, they don't let their heads down whenever they get behind. And we've seen it. 25 come-from-behind victories for this Kansas baseball team. These guys don't let it affect them. Whenever they get down early in a game or whatever it may be, it feels like every single one of them has that clutch gene in them in order to get back into the game.
You blinked, and Kansas was ahead 6-5.
Yeah.
You mentioned a couple guys that I want to highlight as unsung heroes before we get into the nuts and bolts of the stars of the show for the Jayhawks. But Manning West, 3 solid innings, the most important innings that he's pitched in his career. He gave up 1 run, 3 hits, got a nice ovation when he left the game, and deservedly so. I think he's an unsung hero in this one. And then how about Dario Osorio? He and Brady Ballinger, who weirdly enough I think is also an unsung hero. He had a couple hits. You know, somebody who has generally been at the top of the order in his career. He's dealt with a hemate bone and, you know, had to miss some time, missed the Big 12 tournament, came on late against Northeastern, but he looked like vintage Brady. He and Osorio were the guys that before the season, I was like, okay, this is who we're returning. These are the guys we talked to at Allen Fieldhouse before the season started and kind of previewing. It's like, okay, these are going to be the leaders of the team. They're going to be the meat of your order. It hasn't really worked out that way, but did they come up big on the biggest stage? Osorio, like you said, getting the rally starting in that 4th inning with a solo shot, and he also had a couple big other moments throughout this weekend.
He was 4 for 5 yesterday.
Yeah,
2 doubles.
4 hits. And remember, he had the massive game, kind of the game that people point to as the thing that turned Kansas' season around, the 18-7 win against Texas Tech. Osorio had an unbelievable game there. He hasn't been the most consistent performer, but he stepped in. He played defense yesterday in the absence of Cade Baldridge, who we hope will be back and expect to be back for the Super Regionals. He really stepped up, did Osorio, getting those 4 big hits and being solid defensively. Kansas played great defensively. I mentioned Arkansas had some gaffes. KU, along with their 13 runs, 14 hits on offense, they had no errors on the defensive side. So a lot to point to, but let's not bury the lead. Tyson LeBlanc.
Yeah.
He homers in each game this season. Each game this series. He's got 24 homers this season. On Friday, Kansas set multiple records. LeBlanc hit his 22nd homer of the year on Friday. That set the single-season record for an individual for Kansas. He's since extended it to 24. That homer on Friday from Tyson gave Kansas 105 total homers on the season, which now they've got more than that after the past couple days. But that set the record for most homers by a team in a single season in KU history. You also had Dom Vagley set the single-season strikeout record for KU pitchers on Friday. So a lot of fun on Friday, a game that Kansas had to grind out against Northeastern. And then LeBlanc hits the game-tying 2-run homer against Arkansas on Saturday. And then yesterday, Kansas gets down 5-0, and you kind of have in the back of your mind, well, at least if we lose, we can play again tomorrow.
Right.
But like I said, you blink, and Kansas had taken the lead Osorio started it. LeBlanc had a big 3-run homer. Kansas was ahead, and it was like, all right, well, we might as well just win this thing now.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. And that's exactly what happened. And I said it, like, these guys have a clutch gene in them. It feels like every time Tyson LeBlanc comes up to the bat. And look, here's the thing. I was noticing this. I was talking with Jack Ritter and Nick Springer about this while we were sitting there. I was like, man, Tyson, he wants one. Like, he has been swinging for the fences every single time. And a lot of them were misses, right? And you saw it on Saturday where first couple of bats were just, there were some maybe bad swings and misses. And then, like I said, cranks that home run to wind up tying the game, or it was a go-ahead home run, I believe it was. Or no, it was to tie the game on Saturday, and it was the go-ahead on Sunday. And it feels like he's trying to do that every single time just because he wants – he knows that he's able to, right? If he gets a hold of one, that thing's going 450 feet, however far, to the outfield, because he wants that pressure. He likes that pressure on him.
He doesn't have to pull it either. It was 439, almost a dead center yesterday.
It was like center right. I mean, it was.
He does what your stars are supposed to do.
Yeah,
he does.
Absolutely.
That's what it comes down to. And so does Bodie Ray. Bodie Ray pitched 3 consecutive games. No, he didn't have a 0 ERA, anything like that. He's the guy that you need out there. And Kansas wasn't messing around. You got to a 5-run lead late. At one point, it was 13-7. I think when Ray came in, it was 13-8 yesterday. He ends up giving up a couple runs. I think he gave up 3 runs. So it might have been 13-7 when he came in.
Yeah, he gave up 2 home runs and I think another RBI.
Yeah, so I get it. Not a 0 ERA, but in college baseball, you're going to give up some hits. You're going to give up some runs. Arkansas is a really good program. He's still the best option for Kansas. He, outside of Vagley, is KU's best pitcher. And again, he's one of the guys that seems to enjoy the moment. Kansas had so much success in the regular season where you look at a guy like Ray, or you look at a guy like LeBlanc or Mungarieta, all these guys who have had unbelievable seasons, and you go to the NCAA tournament and you think, okay, this is great. Look at all these stars that we have. But as we've seen watching postseason basketball over the years, you don't really know how the guys are going to respond when you play on the biggest stage.
Right.
Well, your stars got to be stars. If you want to win a championship in anything, if you're a star, you got to perform like a star. LeBlanc and Ray are right there atop the list of stars who showed out for Kansas.
Yeah, absolutely, right? And I think you can look up and down the lineup, and there's not a single guy who sticks out to me as a guy who doesn't show up, right? I mean, you look at Jordan Bach, he went 0 for, I think, but also had a couple of walks on the game, and I'm pretty sure he scored 2 runs throughout the series. Really good base running by him, really good job out in right field by Jordan Bach as well. So all of these guys are able to step up in the biggest way, right? Dylan Schlotterbeck, another probably unsung hero, third base, and he actually wound up getting on the all-regional team. Actually, by the way, I was a voter. Did you know this?
Yeah.
As
was I.
You were a voter too?
I was.
No kidding. You got the email?
How about that?
Who'd you vote for?
I did. Who do you think I voted for?
How many Jayhawks did you get?
Let's see. I'd have to remember.
I put 6 on there.
I was going to say probably had 5 or 6.
Yeah.
I mean, LeBlanc, Schlotterbeck, that was clutch.
I had Schlotterbeck on there for me. I had Cade Baldridge on mine.
Baldridge, even though he didn't play yesterday.
I had Dom Vagley.
Vaguely, yeah.
And then I had Ballinger.
Did you have Bodie?
No, I didn't have Bodie. I know. Well, so you only pick 2. You only pick 2 pitchers. Yeah. So I went Dom, and then I also went Hunter Dietz because he had 14 strikeouts against Kansas.
Yeah,
I mean, he was.
That's fair.
He was rock solid.
LeBlanc got him though.
LeBlanc
he
did get him.
But yeah, true. Most outstanding player, unsurprisingly, as he was in the Big 12 tournament, Tyson LeBlanc. I mean, where does it end for this guy, setting one record after another? Yeah, Dietz was nasty with the 14 strikeouts. We knew that was going to be tough, but when Kansas got that huge, kind of going back to Saturday, homer from LeBlanc, that's when it started to get really wobbly for Arkansas, because all of a sudden, despite you having your guy out there in the game that you wanted him out there, Hunter Dietz, you weren't winning anymore. It was 3-3, and now the realization set in that if we lose this, we're kind of running out of guys. And that's what happened as KU got it done. And again, shout out the back end of KU's bullpen on Saturday for making sure that it didn't get worse. I mean, Mason Cook ended up giving up 3 runs, and then it was zeros on Saturday. That gave Kansas
Ritter and Ray on Saturday were unbelievable.
Law firm. That gave Kansas so many, I guess, options going into Sunday, and good vibes knowing that while, yes, you were probably going to do a Johnny Allstaff situation, pitchers, as Kansas did, you didn't have to play at noon, and Arkansas did.
Yeah.
Arkansas was going to have to burn some guys. Essentially, all the things that we talk about going into a setting like this, a setup like this, came true.
Yeah.
Where so often that's not the case. It's like, oh, well, they have to play early and we don't, and then it doesn't matter. And then you lose it. But it actually mattered this time that Kansas won on Saturday. Arkansas had to grind it out. Oh, they're going to be tired. They're going to need to pump in some Gatorade. It's all that stuff that we said that might not matter. It mattered. All of that mattered. Arkansas ran out of pitchers.
Well, Arkansas let Northeastern back in the game, too.
Yeah.
And, that was a tough game by them. Right. And then all of a sudden you had a quick turnaround. An hour later, they were playing against Kansas, who was fresh.
Right. And again, all those words that we talk about, like, oh, well, maybe they'll be more well rested, and who knows how much stock can actually be bought in that. But it seemed to actually make a difference in this one. And again, Kansas could play loose, down 5-0. Shout out to Dariel Osoria, a guy who was on the team last year. He experienced the heartbreak as Brady Ballinger did, as Dom Vagley did, as Manning West did, and some other guys of Kansas not winning a game in Fayetteville and having their season come to a close. They come back in a big way. And again, I can't say enough about how, despite everything we say, oh, this team has a great shot, they're the host, that's going to put them in a great driver's seat position to potentially go to Super Regional. It doesn't always work like that, and you don't always get strong performances, particularly in baseball. Kansas has played, 61 games this season? 45-16, I think is the record.
Yeah, that sounds right.
There's a 3-game stretch in there where guys aren't playing well, right? You could have a 3-game stretch where you go 1 for 11 with 6 strikeouts. I'm not saying we expected that from Tyson LeBlanc, but it's something that happens in baseball. Every level, there's ups and downs.
Guys have slumps.
This was the moment, and the guys answered the call, particularly KU stars, like I said, in LeBlanc and Ray. And now you move forward. It's either going to be Oklahoma or Georgia Tech, but what an opportunity. And if you win 2 out of 3, Dan, you're playing on college baseball's biggest stage.
That's the thing, yeah. So right now we are pre-recording the show, so make sure to keep an eye on that Georgia Tech-Oklahoma game while you're watching Rock Chalk Sports on Kansas Nation or the Kansas Nation YouTube or Facebook Live or whatever it may be. But yeah, I think it's going to be I don't know. We're really obviously hoping that Oklahoma beats Georgia Tech, because Georgia Tech is by far and away a top 5 team in the nation. But the way that Kansas is playing right now, the way that they were able to come back against Arkansas and hit all these bombs, and the pitching staff was so good down the stretch throughout this entire NCAA regional against 2 really solid teams in Arkansas and Northeastern, right? Kansas right now, they're playing like a top 5 team, right? I'll take our guys against anybody. And obviously you hope OU beats Georgia Tech because A, Kansas has a better chance of beating OU, B, because I want to beat some more SEC butt, and C, you're going to get a host that, a super regional for the first time in Kansas baseball history. So I think right there, like, the stakes are absolutely massive. So again, keep an eye on that Georgia Tech OU game. But if OU is able to pull this off, I mean, it's Omahawks all the way.
Are the Demons exercised with Arkansas? Should we be worried when we ever see them? Okay.
I think they are. Well, also everybody forgets about women's
NIT 2023.
The WNIT. Kansas beat Arkansas in the WNIT. But yeah, I think the Demons are exercised. I do like the fact that it feels like the NCAA. Now, granted, I feel like in like non-revenue sports, even in revenue sports, just because of the football and basketball thing. But I feel like Arkansas and Kansas are always going to be tied to the hip just because of the regionality of it. You know what I mean? Like, they're really close in proximity, but they're in 2 different Power 4 conferences, Power 5 conferences. So if you're ever in a situation where you're going to be in a regional type setting, like, you're probably going to pull Arkansas every single time, which I think is fun. I think it's great for the sport.
Yeah. It's more fun now that we won, that we wouldn't have been happy.
That's the thing. It's more fun now because we beat them twice. But yeah, I do like the fact that this is sort of coming into a fun little weird rivalry that we have with another SEC
I've got a buddy
school.
who went to Arkansas, so we were texting a little bit. Yeah, it's fun.
It's fun. It's chirp. How many teeth is he?
Right. How about the last 10 days or so for Kansas? Kansas ranked number 13 in the country at the time that we're recording this. Arkansas was number 14. So there's 2 wins against a top 15 team. And then go back to surprise. Let's not forget, Kansas ran a train through the Big 12.
Yeah.
You beat West Virginia, who's nationally ranked. They're a national seed in this thing. You beat them. They had an incredible
They actually
walk-off.
forced a Monday game.
Yeah, they had an incredible walk-off.
Well, did you see how that game ended?
Yeah.
So
the balk and the two-run dong.
The game-tying balk.
Yeah.
Oh, man. That's
Bummer. But yeah, West Virginia, they forced a Monday game, like you said. But Kansas beat West Virginia. They beat Oklahoma State, who's a top 20 team. Big 12 regular season champions, Big 12 tournament champions, and now onto the Super Regionals for the first time ever. KU trying to get to their first College World Series since 1993. After this, we're going to go back to Allen Fieldhouse. We're going to hear from Dan Fitzgerald and some KU players as the Hawks defeat the Hogs 13-10 on to the Super Regionals. Rock Chalk Sports, ESPN Kansas City, kansasnation.com.
I'm Tyson LeBlanc. You're watching Kansas.
Together, we're elevating our potential, our pride, our traditions, and our dreams. Together, we're opening up a whole new world of possibilities. Elevate your University of Kansas experience with Jayhawk checking from Central Bank. Central Bank and KU, elevating together.
This is SSJ. Winter in Kansas City doesn't mean your lawn takes a break. It means smart homeowners get a head start. Let David and his crew from Custom Lawn and Landscape prepare your yard for a greener, healthier spring with winter fertilization, soil conditioning, and pre-emergent treatments that stop weeds before they start. Because when the snow melts, you don't want to start fixing your lawn. You want to already be winning. Trust Custom Lawn and Landscape, treating your yard now so it looks incredible later. Visit CustomLawn.com to schedule your winter services today.
We've got Mahindra, the #1 selling farm tractor in the world.
While you're making your spring chores list, put a new Mahindra tractor at the top of it. For a limited time at Heinen Repair and Heinen Outdoor Power Equipment, get 0% financing for 84 months, plus $1,000 cash back on new Mahindra tractors with approved credit. Don't miss out. This offer won't last long. For details, see Heinen Repair south of Valley Falls and Heinen Outdoor Power Equipment in Lawrence.
With Heinen, there's always hope for your yard.
Well, if you weren't able to get to Hoglund Ballpark, hopefully you kept up with us on socials at the Kansas Nation, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Kansas Nation on Facebook. Dan was in the coal mines, man, posting videos, photos, graphics, interviews, pressers, everything that you need. And kansasnation.com also the place to go.
Tough day at the old podcast factory for old Dan Cora. But yeah, check out kansasnation.com. All of our shows are going to be up on kansasnation.com. Also on our Kansas Nation YouTube page. Just look up Kansas Nation. You got Rock Chalk Sports, Between Two Fountains, Haney and the Hawks, Tyshawn Taylor's show, The Timeout with Tyshawn Taylor podcast. So a lot of great stuff. And then follow us on all of our social media platforms as well. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at the Kansas Nation. Kansas Nation on Facebook too. A lot of new followers since this past weekend, so that's been a lot of fun to see it growing. So appreciate all the fans out there.
Kansas, they take down Arkansas and advance to the Super Regionals for the first time ever. Let's go to Allen Fieldhouse. We'll get an opening statement from head coach Dan Fitzgerald. Then we'll have Tyson LeBlanc as well as Brady Ballinger and Josh Dykhoff. A little bit later, we'll hear more from Coach Fitz after an emotional and victorious weekend here on the call. Let's go to the Fieldhouse.
Well, what a night, and what a regional. You know, that can't say enough about the three teams in this thing, and how competitive those three programs are, and how well coached they are, and how hard their players play, and how talented this thing was from top to bottom. So to come out of this thing on top is it's another mountain to climb, and could not be more proud of these guys and their teammates that are probably revving up the locker room right now with the disco ball and whatever else they're doing. But unbelievable crowd, unbelievable atmosphere, and just could not be more proud and couldn't be more excited to keep playing baseball.
questions for the student athletes? Go ahead, Jake.
Jack Ritter, 24/7 Sports. Brady, you guys were trailing for a good portion of that start. What went into keeping the mentality of we can stick this thing out, we can win this thing eventually?
You know, we just trusted our guys. We stuck to the approach that Coach Fitz gave us, and we just grinded out at bats. We know they had a good starter, and we knew that we could get to him, and we just got through in the 4th or 5th. I forget which one.
And then Tyson, I know you're probably getting bored of us asking you about it, but what'd you see on that pitch, and what'd you feel in that moment when you hit that ball?
Yeah, leading up to the home run, I had spoiled off a few good pitches, and once again, that pitcher was great. I was looking for a hanging breaking ball, and that's what I got, and made him pay.
For all three of you guys, the hugs, the moment on the field after that game, looking into the crowd, looking into your teammates' eyes, if you could each just tell me how that felt, what did that look like, what did it feel like, all that stuff.
It meant a lot. You know, we've grinded through this year. This is my 2nd year in the program, and last year coming up, going to regionals and falling short, it hurt a lot. And this year, being able to get back to regionals and not falling short this time, being able to win the whole thing, it was awesome.
It's amazing. All I can say is God's great.
Yeah, to be able to give the fans what they've been waiting for a long time, that was an amazing feeling. Looking up, having all the families in the stands, student section, everyone, that was a great feeling.
Which one of you wants to talk about Osorio tonight?
LeBlanc?
I'll go for it. That dude's a warrior. We've been saying it all year. He's one of the best hitters to come through here, and he showed up when the stage was the biggest. He picked us up tonight, especially with Baldridge out. He stepped up. I don't know if y'all remember the play to get us out the inning at second base. That was huge. I mean, he hasn't played defense in forever. That guy's a baller.
And then, Brady, can you elaborate on just that feeling of playing left field in front of those people out there? I mean, it's perfect for you because you play to it. I see you. I know you.
Is it perfect for him?
Right? I mean,
they made that wall
I don't
for him.
They made the wall for him. You need someone to talk to out there.
What's that like to experience it like that, and how into it were you? How much did you let yourself be engaged with them, and how hard was it to not fully engage if you pulled back at all?
It was awesome, you know, getting to see fans up close and personal, especially in left field. You know, it was just so cool getting to see them and being here and being able to hear them. They had me start a few of the claps a few times, but it was so awesome.
Brady, how would you describe the process of coming back from injury and getting yourself ready to play a big role in this regional?
You know, it was definitely a grind, I would say. A few days ago, I was questioning whether I could hold a bat correctly, and then being able to come in Friday and come up big for my team, start a rally to get on some insurance runs. It was just awesome, you know. Just coming back from that was tough.
And then, Josh, how would you describe the at-bat where you fell behind 0-2 and ended up getting the home run?
Just like what it's been all year, just keep battling every pitch, don't give in, and got a good pitch, and I hit it well.
Noah Darling, College Baseball Central. Josh, just a few weeks ago, that West Virginia series, a couple of us, myself included, asked you, hey, is there something wrong with this team? You confidently said no. What made you maintain that confidence, and what helped you guys sustain it?
Just no surprise, and like we're just all best friends in there. They're like showing up every day is the best thing. Like we show up with smiles, and we want to be here every single day and just work our butts off, and together, it's all together.
Jacob Webb, University of Daly, Kansas. For any of you guys, I think Manning West, three innings pitched tonight, only one run, kind of allowed you guys to go 11 unanswered. I think just how big was that start?
No shock out of Manning. You know, he's been there before. He's come in big games before. He's pitched big innings for us. And when I saw him come out, I had so much confidence in him. It was awesome.
That was huge. Fitz actually challenged the pitchers for one guy to step up into the moment, and he gave us the zeros we need for our offense to catch back up, and that's what he's done for us. That's what he's done for the program for 2 years.
Yeah, that was huge. Just putting up zeros after zeros it's huge.
That's part one of post-game press conference. KU onto the Super Regionals, and they're one series away from going to the College World Series for the first time in 33 years. Dan, exciting stuff. Let's talk, though, for a second about our founding partners here at Kansas Nation, Crown Automotive.
I'd love to tell you about Crown Automotive. Over in my neck of the woods, Crown Automotive here in Lawrence, a whole line of new and used cars, new Toyotas and Volkswagens, Tiguans, Tauses, Jettas, Corollas, Tacomas, Tundras, RAV4s, you name it. They've got it. And if those aren't your jam, they have a whole line of used cars as well from a number of different brands. Friendliest sales staff in town, and they're owned by the Lawrence Citizen of the Year, Miles Schneer. So be sure to check them out, crownautomotive.com or crownmotorsvw.com.
Hey, after this, we're going to be joined in studio by the Kansas City Sports Network's own Nick Springer. That's next. ESPN Kansas City, kansasnation.com.
Hi, my name is Augusto Mungarrieta from Kansas Baseball, and you're watching kansasnation.com.
We've got Mahindra, the #1 selling farm tractor in the world.
While you're making your spring chores list, put a new Mahindra tractor at the top of it. For a limited time at Heinen Repair and Heinen Outdoor Power Equipment, get 0% financing for 84 months, plus $1,000 cash back on new Mahindra tractors with approved credit. Don't miss out. This offer won't last long. For details, see Heinen Repair, south of Valley Falls, and Heinen Outdoor Power Equipment in Lawrence.
With Heinen, there's always hope for your yard.
Haney and the Hawks is presented by Jefferson's with 2 Lawrence locations. Home of the best wings in town, 21 signature sauces. You got to check them out. But if wings aren't your thing, how about a burger? They hand patty their certified Angus beef every single day. Also hand bread their tenders. They make their ranch in-house. There is truly something for everybody at Jefferson's. Go see my buddy Brandon Graham and the entire crew at Jefferson's, either on Mass or Wakarusa in Lawrence, Kansas.
Ultimate pool party sale at Family Leisure. Let us help you create the ultimate outdoor space. Jump into summer with exceptional deals on pools. Enhance the party with goggles, pool floats, toys, and outdoor games at guaranteed lowest prices. Dozens of in-stock sun loungers to choose from. Multiple shade solutions to choose from. Spas and swim spas at unbeatable prices. Add the finishing touch with an outdoor kitchen or pool grill. Ultimate pool party sale going on right now at Family Leisure.
Welcome back here on Kansas Nation. Thanks to everybody listening over on ESPN Kansas City. KU baseball on to the Super Regionals. First time ever. The KU athletic department has been on an uptick, probably like we've never seen before, and it's been enjoyable covering that. We're going to be joined now in studio by the Kansas City Sports Network's Nick Springer. Nick, KU baseball, killing it. What? Absolutely, as they knock off Arkansas in successive days.
When?
3-0 in the Lawrence Regional. And now they're on to the Super Regionals. Your thoughts on the weekend that was at Hoglund?
I was going to say where, but then you said Lawrence Regional. I was like, oh, man, it was missed out on an opportunity there. Yeah, it was awesome. It was a blast. Truly an incredible weekend, I think, overall, just in terms of the play on the field for Kansas, obviously going undefeated in the regional, beating Arkansas twice, and then KU fans obviously doing their part as well. I mean, we were there yesterday on Sunday, and in the 7th inning, the Arkansas pitcher can't hear his pitch count because of how loud it is at Hoglund Ballpark. Yeah. And so, that should give you an idea of just how electric the atmosphere was. And it was like that from the first pitch on Friday all the way through until the final out last night for KU. So, yeah, really incredible from the crowd. The way I would describe it was it was a total team effort this weekend for KU. And I'm not just talking about the guys on the field. I'm talking about the guys at the end of the bench, coaching staff, fans. You mentioned it, Sean, the administration, obviously, scrambling to put together the backyard to elevate the experience for fans. So it was a total team effort, I think, on the part of everybody involved with KU. And anybody involved with KU, I think, should pat themselves on the back for what was an excellent weekend from, again, on the field standpoint. You win the regional, obviously. My experience, as far as I could tell, being at the stadium, I spent a game in the backyard. I had personally a great experience with it. Obviously, the sight lines aren't the best, but it was fantastic. Fans were excited to be back there. There was a lot of people. It was a really cool atmosphere, so that was great. And just overall, I think it was an excellent experience across the board for everybody involved with KU and the fans included as well. And so, I guess there was a reason that on Wednesday tickets were sold out 5 minutes after they went on sale, because KU fans were excited to be out there and support Kansas, and that was clearly evident in their enthusiasm for literally every pitch Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for KU. So overall, just a phenomenal weekend, and I've been in town for the last many times. Both of you guys have been down for the last many times. Even still at Hoglund, the atmosphere felt that level, like it was that intense. Despite the fact that it's obviously a smaller stadium, it didn't feel that way when you were sitting in the middle of it, and it's a 2-2 count with 2 outs in the 7th inning. It didn't feel like there was 4,000 people there. It felt like you were sitting in the middle of the student section at Allen Fieldhouse. So, and the students obviously I think deserve a huge shout out as well. They were phenomenal. They've been showing up, and just to be clear with the students, this is not like a one-off thing for them. They've been doing this for KU baseball for the better part of the past 2 seasons now. They've been a big part of curating the environment at Hoglund Ballpark.
Say last year was like the biggest. Like that was when it first kind of came about, and then they've been consistent.
Right. So the students, this is not just oh my gosh, KU was in the NCAA tournament, let's go show up and get rowdy.
Yeah.
Like no, they've been doing this. Like they have been supporting this program and backing this program for, again, the better part of 2 years with their level of energy that they brought, and that continued over the weekend as well. And for the most part, it was positive. Obviously, I think there was a little bit back and forth at one point with Arkansas fans, but who knows. So for the most part, it was very positive, and I think that was really cool. And so, huge shout out to the students as well for not just their support this weekend, but their continued support over the past 18-plus months, I think, of KU baseball since they've really elevated it. And so, again, all that is to say, basically, total team effort, I thought, across the board, from players, coaches, fans, administration, staff, everybody. Like, it should be really celebrated what was accomplished this past weekend at Hoglund, and we'll see if they have a chance to do it again next weekend. Who knows at this point, but it was still very, very exciting to be there and be a part of it, because it really, in the moment, I was thinking like, man, this feels like a once-in-a-lifetime thing. And obviously for KU baseball fans, it is a once-in-a-lifetime thing.
Right.
Like, never happened before. Now, going forward, obviously you hope that with what KU is building with Dan Fitzgerald, that, hey, in the coming years you'll be experiencing this again and again. But for the time being, it really did feel like it was a very monumental, memorable thing for KU fans. And I hope, again, that's how I felt. I hope KU fans shared a similar sentiment. But, it was an absolute blast to be there. And obviously, again, talk about the total team effort. I mean, talk about the guys on the field, right? I mean, you had heroic individual efforts from, a half a dozen different players. Bodie Ray pitches 3 straight days and gets a 6-out close to win the game on Sunday yesterday. I mean, for him to do that, to go 3 straight days was incredible. Manning West obviously was a big part of KU's success yesterday, coming in and settling things down. Pitched 4 innings, I think, or was it 3 innings yesterday?
3 and a third.
3 and a third innings yesterday for him. So he was phenomenal. And then you talk about Tyson LeBlanc, MVP of the regional, well deserved. I mean, I don't know if there's a hotter player in the universe right now with the baseball bat than Tyson LeBlanc and what he's been doing. Brady Ballinger fighting through injury, doesn't start on Friday, comes in, makes an impact, ends up with a multi-hit game yesterday, and had a hit on Saturday as well, driving some key runs. And you can see how much he's the emotional engine of this team at times. Daryl Osoria having an incredible 4-hit game yesterday, and being asked to step in at second base because of Cade Baldridge's injury. Like, that was impressive. Max Solis comes in and hitting from the 9 spot.
Revenge game.
Has a big hit as well.
That's right.
And so, it was just incredible individual efforts. You go back to what Dom Bagley did on Friday night, and Mason Cook. If you look at, stats-wise, he's not going to blow you away. I think he had, 1 strikeout in his outing, but what he did was very impressive, sort of trying to match what Hunter Dietz for Arkansas was doing on Saturday in that game and keeping KU in that game. And so just across the board, you had individuals stepping up in big moments that was really, really impressive. And, I think this KU team is kind of built this reputation of being a team that comes back from deficits. Well, you were losing in all 3 games this weekend. You were trailing in all 3 games this weekend. You were trailing 3-1 against Arkansas. You come back to win that game. You were 5-0 on Sunday. And so, they did it again, 11 straight runs yesterday to help them win that game. So, yeah, it was just really like a storybook weekend, I think, for KU. But the beauty of it is that, when you talk about a storybook weekend, you're talking about a storybook ending. Well, it ain't over yet. There's still more chapters written for KU in the Super Regional, so and maybe beyond. And so, deep. Yeah, really, really impressive stuff from KU all around this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Nick Springer, KCSN, and Nick, obviously you had a chance to talk to John Coyne, who's the pitching coach for Kansas, and you mentioned it, right? Manning West comes in and just absolutely shoves, and Mason Cook did an excellent job. Dominic Vagley. I mean, the pitching staff throughout this regional was so well managed. I think you only had to use 2 guys on Friday, 3 guys on Saturday, and then Sunday you had everybody. You actually brought back Ryan Ritter. You brought back Bodie Ray. I mean, there's a lot of arms that we didn't even need to see. But, just talk to me about the job that Coach John Coyne has done with this pitching staff, because you can talk all day about how Kansas hits bombs, right? This is the best home run hitting team that we've seen in Kansas history, right? Everyone on the offense is fantastic, but the pitching staff, I feel like, is not talked about enough.
Yeah, we had a chance to talk with John Coyne on our podcast, on the paid podcast on KCSN last week, and even despite the fact that we talked about the regionals, I would still go back and watch it if you haven't had the chance to, because it's really an evergreen show of him talking about his role in what KU's been building over the past handful of seasons. For KU, you talked about his role on the staff, and he's big on the recruiting side as well. And obviously, KU's had the #1 JUCO ranked recruiting class in the past couple seasons as well. But I actually thought the pivotal pitching decision, if you want to call it that, was made by Dan Fitzgerald, and it was Sunday. You're in the bottom of the second inning, because KU's the road team, because stupid NCAA rules. you're in the bottom of the second inning, and it's rapidly becoming apparent that Methnayrol just didn't have it. Just didn't have his best stuff. That's going to happen, right? In moments like that. And KU, I think they pulled him when it was still a 1-0 game, but even still, it was pretty clear that he was kind of struggling out there. And I think at that moment, you have a critical decision to make if you're Dan Fitzgerald. You can say, hey, Methnayrol doesn't have his best stuff, but I know that I have maybe a limited bullpen, and I want to try to extend him as best as I can. And you know what? Hey, if this one gets away from us early, fine. We'll come back tomorrow. We'll play on Monday. No big deal. Or you can say, hey, you know what? Methnayrol's kind of struggling. He's teetering pretty bad. Let's make a change now. And let's say, you know what? I'm going to push my chips to the center of the table, and I want to win this regional today.
Yeah.
I don't want to worry about potentially playing on Monday. I just want to win it right now. And that's what he did. He made that critical decision. And that is not an easy decision to make at all. I mean, for a coach to do that when you have a guy like Methnayrol who's made 17 starts this season for KU.
Yeah, and I just want to add to that. Usually, Coach Fitz will ride his guys,
right?
Even through some ups and downs in the middle of a game,
right?
And yet, to your point, he said, "All right, I've got these bullets I can fire. Let's win this thing. Let's not have to play again on Monday."
Exactly. So that, to me, was maybe the most critical decision that Dan Fitzgerald made of the entire weekend, potentially, was that moment right there to say, man, Methnayrol doesn't have his best stuff. Do I see if he can maybe ride it out? But what if it gets away? We can just play Monday. Or you know what? Hey, you know what? No. I can tell that he's, struggling. I want to make this change now. I want to win this damn thing today. And he makes that change and goes to the bullpen at that point in the game. And it ends up paying off, obviously, for Kansas, right? That they ultimately do win that game yesterday. So that, to me, I think was the most pivotal decision of maybe the entire weekend, was that moment, because he could have easily left Methnayrol out there for an extra hitter or two, and a 1-run game becomes 4 runs, 5 runs, 6 runs, 7 runs, and it's over, right? The game would be basically over at that point. Now, obviously, we know Kansas ended up, producing majorly on the offense, but you can't predict that in the second inning at that point. So I thought that was the pivotal decision of the entire weekend, was making that move for Methnayrol. And so that was to me like, okay, this is Dan Fitzgerald recognizing the moment and saying, I'm not messing around with this. Let's win this thing tonight. Let's win this thing right now. And it ended up paying off in a big way for KU. So
we were talking a little bit earlier about how so often in sports we will draw it out as oh, this is such a good thing that Kansas gets an extra day of rest, or that Kansas gets the night game, or, as fans, we'll make something.
You try to spin zone it.
Yeah, you make something out of nothing potentially, or try. But it seemed like it mattered that Kansas defeated Arkansas on Saturday. The Hogs had to play Northeastern, and they had to grind through that. And then they kind of ran out of steam. They didn't look like an incredibly focused team. They didn't look like a fresh team. They had a couple errors. They had guys running into each other. And, yeah, like I said, the most important thing, they kind of ran out of guys. And KU had the rest. They were able to, get fired up for their big moment. So it actually played out as hoped. Not only are you the top seed, the regional host, but you took care of business the first 2 days, and it gave you a chance on Sunday to be in better shape.
Yeah, it's kind of the old adage of I think it just varies from team to team, but some teams may embrace that, right? Of, hey, we know we have to play 18 innings today just to force a game 7 to play on Monday, right? If you're Arkansas in that scenario, I think it just kind of varies from team to team. But you're right. I think KU is the type of team that it's clear that these guys love those clutch moments. Love those. I mean, Tyson LeBlanc comes up in the fourth inning. It's 5-3 at that point, and he hits a throw-in home run to put KU in front. I mean, it was unbelievable, right? And I'm sure he himself and probably fans of the Sands were sitting there thinking, he's going to hit a home run here. He's going to do it.
Yeah.
And then sure enough, he did.
I stood up and started recording because it was like something big's going to happen.
So, I think this team really, really loves those types of moments. But you're right. And even as the game was unfolding, and it was kind of still back and forth. Arkansas had made it, I think, 11-7 at one point. And what you're saying, Sean, is very true about Arkansas just looking like a spent team, really. But I mean, I was looking at it thinking, man, it's got to feel the same way for Kansas too, right? I mean, you're expending a lot of emotional energy. This is a very, very draining game. The game took over 4 hours. You are investing everything into this game if you're Kansas, and so. If it had gone the other way, if Arkansas would have won, and then if you're Kansas, you have to pick yourselves back up and come back again today, that would have been very challenging. And so I think both teams, I was getting the feeling that both teams were really, really, really emptying the tank. And Kansas had a little bit more, to your point, because of the fact they hadn't played a game literally 3 hours before that.
Yeah.
And again, that game against Northeastern, just a quick little tangent, by the way. I was very impressed with Northeastern.
Yeah.
Northeastern was a really good team.
They're great.
They were really good. I thought they played really well the whole weekend.
It's like playing Hofstra in the first round of the tournament.
Right.
It's this is a well-coached, good team.
Yeah, no, I was very, very impressed with them. I mean, I thought they played well the whole weekend. They started a true freshman yesterday against Arkansas, and he was pretty dominant for over 3 innings. Now Arkansas eventually started tagging him up, but I mean, he was shutting them down for the first third of that game, basically. So, yeah. I don't know if there's any Northeastern fans listening. Probably not. But if there is, you guys got a good team. Very impressed with them.
Yeah, they do.
But, yeah, no, with Arkansas, definitely the fact that they had to play against Northeastern and the fact that game literally came down to the final out, where Northeastern hits a home run to cut it to a 1-run game in the ninth inning, that certainly factored in, right? And I think that was probably as big of a factor as the atmosphere that Kansas had at Hoglund Ballpark. I mean, if that's played – if this weekend is played on a neutral field, I'm not saying that Kansas doesn't win, but I don't think they win in the fashion that they did. The fans absolutely made a huge, huge impact over the course of the weekend as well. So that can't be – I don't think that can be overstated either. But yeah, I think now, to me, the bigger key for KU, going back to your point about the rest, is that because you win this game, you don't have to play today, Monday. You now have an extra day of rest to prepare for the Super Regional. That, to me, is what would be more critical for KU is the fact that now, guys like Cade Baldridge, guys like Brady Ballinger, Bodie Ray, guys that, expended a lot this weekend, will have an extra day to rest and recuperate for the Super Regional, which I think is the bigger factor because, if KU had lost yesterday and then they were to play tonight and win tonight, great, but that's a whole day that you've missed out on potentially having some of, just a mental reset, physical reset, obviously for the guys that I mentioned. So
you had to have guys pitch today. Yeah.
Right. I mean, that was in the back of my mind. It's like, man, obviously you want to win the game in front of you and you want to advance. But to me, the bigger impact I thought was, man, now you can just rest, recuperate for an extra day before you gear up. Because there's obviously several regionals around the country where that's not the case, including KU's potential super regional opponent. So I thought that was a big part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have no idea what Dan Fitzgerald would have done, but you might have had to use Dom Vagley today. So that's a huge factor.
Yeah,
there's a chance he at least had to go out and give you a couple innings, and maybe
Right.
those other teams across the country are dealing with similar stuff, and Kansas should have that advantage. But yeah, it was nice, to your point, like it all played out on the field as we drew it up on paper. Hey, you're the top seed, you're the host, you should win this. And Kansas, got the sweep, got it done. Nick Springer, Kansas City Sports Network, joins us. One more thing on this weekend. We talked about some unsung heroes, and whoever you want to hone in on, you've mentioned them, but Dariel Osorio probably didn't have the season that he wanted statistically. He came up huge all weekend, manning West 3 1/3 big innings. But the lead is the Stars. The Stars showed out, and LeBlanc hitting a homer each of the 3 games that Kansas played. And then Bodie Ray doesn't pitch 3 days in a row too often, and multiple innings. He got
actually
it done.
Never pitched 3 days in a row in his career.
Not once in his career.
Prior to this weekend.
And delivered. So, yeah, LeBlanc got most outstanding player. He absolutely deserved it. But, man, having Ray at the back end was huge for Kansas. And again, it all starts on Friday. Vagley gave you 7 innings. You had Vagley and Ray. Then you had – it's a domino effect. You had these guys all available on Sunday, and I think that's a great point you said about Fitz.
It allowed Fitz to make that call that he wanted to make
Yeah.
with Mathis Nayrol taking him out when he did, right? Maybe he doesn't do that if KU had been forced to use 4 or 5 pitchers the other 2 games, but wasn't the case. So
Yeah, absolutely. No, it was great to see, and now Kansas awaits the winner of a game going on right now, actually, Oklahoma and Georgia Tech. If it's Oklahoma, then Kansas will host the Sooners, and if it's Georgia Tech, Kansas will head to the Peach State to take them on. They scored 22 runs a couple days ago.
Who did?
Georgia Tech.
In their first game.
And then Oklahoma got them, was it 15-8 yesterday or something like that?
It was 13-8 yesterday.
13-8.
Georgia Tech, they scored it was 16-1 in the 4th.
Oh, my gosh.
I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, by the way, Georgia Tech, for people that maybe don't know, is probably the best team left in the field. They're obviously the 2 seed, so it makes sense.
Yeah, UCLA.
Because UCLA lost. Yeah. But even if UCLA was still in, Georgia Tech might be the best team in the country. So if Oklahoma were to knock them off, that would obviously be very monumental in terms of the overall bracket, but obviously in terms of also paving the way for Kansas to potentially host and then also make their way to Omaha. So,
yeah, absolutely. Nick Springer, KCSN, one more thing for you. Sean had mentioned this, and I hadn't really thought about it until today.
What did you not thought about, Dan?
Are the Arkansas Demons exercised for the postseason for the fact that, Kansas, they got them in the Liberty Bowl, they got them 2 years in the NCAA, tournament in basketball. They were there last year, didn't have a chance to play against them, but now you clip them twice. I mean, and also, I wonder if you share the same sentiment. Like, is this a new weird rivalry, like, kind of blooming in front of our eyes?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it could be. Listen, I'm from Wichita. I don't know if you guys are familiar, but
I'm familiar
in
with Wichita. Yes.
No, I was going to get to what I was talking about. In Wichita, you have the Arkansas River. Right?
Oh yeah,
it flows through Wichita. Right?
That's right.
It's obviously anywhere else they call it the Arkansas River.
Yeah.
But it's the Arkansas River.
Arkansas River.
So
Arkansas City.
Ark City. Right. There's also Ark City. Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe it is a rivalry potentially blooming. I know Arkansas has a big rivalry with Missouri too.
Right.
So I don't know. But are the Demons exercised? I don't know. Maybe. I mean, on aggregate, Arkansas still has more wins, so I guess not really.
But we have
it was very nice.
Kansas
it was
a 2-game winning streak against
Listen,
Arkansas.
it was very, very nice, obviously, this weekend to get these wins. I will just say this, a couple things. In the few personal interactions that I had with Arkansas fans, they were good. They were nice fans.
Yeah.
They took everything, they took everything in stride. I was at one point I was in the backyard for the Saturday game, and they were trying to do Arkansas, and every time they said Arkansas, K-fans say sucks, and it was awesome. Everybody had a good laugh at it. It was funny. It was a good laugh
when they were doing the woo pig sweet.
Yeah,
thing, everyone started booing, and it would just drown it out. It was awesome.
Yeah, and the student section had some fun with that too, which I think was good. They
hit a home run in like the 8th. and
Right,
the student
and-
section started
right.
saying, "Do the
Right,
chant."
Yeah, so they were kind of so it was kind of like
Great.
facetiously egging them on, which was fun. But again, every Arkansas fan that I interacted with, I think was nice and was happy to be, here, I guess, at the NCAA tournament. So,
Well, I hope they had a fun trip home.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, I've made that drive. It's interesting.
I can imagine it's fun.
No.
It's there's a lot of hills.
Yeah,
A lot of rolling hills.
You get into that
Going to
northwest Arkansas is just
Northwest Arkansas has a lot of
windy,
hills,
and it's just you're all over the place.
Yeah, this was actually driving to Memphis for the Liberty Bowl. I drove to Memphis.
Oh
for
my
the Liberty
God!
Bowl.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy that drive.
And I drove. There's like two routes you can take. You can either go straight east through like St. Louis and then south, or you can take like a short. I think it's like technically shorter.
Yeah.
It might take a little bit longer, but you go down first, and then you go through Northwest Arkansas, and you kind of like cut back up through.
You get some 2 lanes on there.
That's the route that I took, and no, it was there were some sketchy moments.
I took that route too, and it was not fun.
It's not quite driving on I-70 West.
No.
The Rocky Mountains, a little bit different.
Through Colby, Kansas.
Last thing
I don't
for
know,
you.
man. That drive from the stretch of I-70 between Kansas City and St. Louis might be the worst, actually.
Oh, that's awful.
Terrible.
It's just straight, flat,
Downtown
nothing.
Kansas City.
Yeah.
There's
The
nothing.
worst part of
Everyone's
driving.
At least when you're
miles an
like I-70 West, if you're going, I mean, obviously Western Kansas, is like not great, but there's mountains once you get to Colorado. Kind of.
The worst part of every drive I have from Lawrence is if I'm going through Kansas City to go literally any direction, it's the part of going through downtown Kansas City. I absolutely hate it. Nick, last thing for you, just kind of prospects moving forward for this Kansas team. You mentioned the rest. It's going to either be the Yellow Jackets in Atlanta or the Sooners here in Lawrence, but KU should be in a good shape. I mean, they got their stars playing like stars, and you're able to kind of stay on track with your pitchers.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said, with Tyson LeBlanc, like you hope he stays hot from what he did this past weekend. And I was kind of thinking about this, and maybe if we get the chance to talk to Dan Fitzgerald later this week at some point, I'd maybe like to ask him. But I was thinking, and I wonder if the Super Regional isn't in some ways like easier than a regional weekend a little bit, because it's more set,
Standard
right?
series,
It's more like standard.
Series,
You know your opponent every day, right?
Then
like
you get to the College World Series, and it's back to the pool format.
Right, like in the regional this weekend, for instance, for Kansas. I mean, think about it. You're playing 3 games, but you don't know who your opponent's going to be any given day. I mean, literally yesterday, you're going to either play Arkansas or Northeastern, but you don't know which one until
an hour
before you're going to start playing. So, like, I just wonder if from a preparation standpoint, from a just routine rhythm, hey, you're going to go play just a standard series this week. Like, I wonder if the Super Regional isn't easier to prepare for. Now, I'm sure from the standpoint of like pressure and the atmosphere and all, like Super Regional is going to be ramped up, but just from a standpoint of like, hey, you're kind of just going to go back to play in like a regular series. Like, does that make things easier for you? So I don't know. That'd be something I maybe would want to ask Dan Fitzgerald if we get a chance to talk to him later this week. Is like, hey, like, is it a little bit easier? I don't know. Like,
right.
You'd
think it would be.
It'd be something to ask him about. But obviously, I think once you get to the stage, guys, it's just like the NCAA Baseball Tournament. I mean, once you get to the second weekend, or once you get to, in this case, the Super Regional, it's like, it's all hands on deck. I mean, anything can happen. Records, seeding, none of that matters once you get to the stage of the tournament. Because if you've made it this far, you're playing well, right? No matter who you are.
Yeah.
And so what that means is that KU is going to face a good opponent either way, but it also means that KU is 2 wins away from the College World Series, which is, equally as exciting of a prospect. So, I'm looking forward to it. We'll see how things play out this weekend, and should be a lot of fun. By the way, if it is in Lawrence, I don't know if you guys happen to see the forecast again. It's going to be supposed to be rain.
Oh,
like,
I've been keeping my eye on the forecast for this weekend.
For sure. Yeah, we'll see what happens on that front.
So
but,
do the rain dance.
Yeah. Nick Springer, Kansas City Sports Network, thanks again for coming in, man. Always appreciate the insight. And, hey, just glad to still be talking KU baseball, man. We'll see you soon.
Yeah, appreciate it. You guys are the best.
Of course, Nick Springer. We'll chat with him again next Monday. More coming up. Rock Chalk Sports, ESPN Kansas City, kansasnation.com.
I'm Tate Baldridge, and you're watching kansasnation.com.
Together, we're elevating our potential, our pride, our traditions, and our dreams. Together, we're opening up a whole new world of possibilities. Elevate your University of Kansas experience with Jayhawk checking from Central Bank. Central Bank and KU, elevating together.
This is SSJ. Winter in Kansas City doesn't mean your lawn takes a break. It means smart homeowners get a head start. Let David and his crew from Custom Lawn and Landscape prepare your yard for a greener, healthier spring with winter fertilization, soil conditioning, and pre-emergent treatments that stop weeds before they start. Because when the snow melts, you don't want to start fixing your lawn. You want to already be winning. Trust Custom Lawn and Landscape, treating your yard now so it looks incredible later. Visit CustomLawn.com to schedule your winter services today.
Heinen Outdoor Power Equipment. Partners of us here at Kansas Nation. Hustle in and save hundreds on Heinen mowers. Hope Heinen Outdoor Power Equipment. All right. Case of the Mondays. Let's get into it, Dan.
Yeah, let's get into it. I want to start here. You actually wrote this down. You actually put in UCLA, and I went ahead and put in Nebraska, too.
I'm good with it. UCLA is the number one overall seed, but Nebraska also doesn't advance. SEC is doing great, by the way.
Yes,
except
I know.
Arkansas.
Well, except Arkansas. But case of the Mondays for UCLA and Nebraska. Case of the Mondays for Big Ten softball and baseball fans, I guess, if you will. For the first time ever, 2 regional hosts in their respective softball teams and baseball teams got eliminated in the same day. Nebraska.
It's kind of surprising that's never happened before.
Well, I think it's. I would say no, because same day, and then it has to be like both baseball and softball for 2 different teams.
Right.
So like you had UCLA softball and UCLA baseball.
Yeah,
both of them
fair.
lost, and then UCLA softball Nebraska softball, Nebraska baseball. Nebraska baseball, they lost 11-8 yesterday. Nebraska softball lost 3-1. UCLA baseball lost to St. Mary's on a walk-off. That was awesome, by the way. Shout out to St. Mary's. And the UCLA softball lost 8-7. So, yeah, shout out to the Big Ten. Man, UCLA, by the way, I don't know what they're putting in the water out there in Orange County. Both their baseball and softball team were just unbelievable this year. And both of them were just smoking bombs.
Yes.
I mean, my good UCLA softball, they led the nation in home runs by like 80.
Also, their women's college basketball team won the national championship.
Their women's college basketball team also won the national championship. I totally forgot.
I think they're putting
about
cash
that.
in the water out there. For
That
softball,
could be.
what it's worth, the only hope for non-SEC is the Big 12's Texas Tech, as they defeated UCLA. And they get Alabama, the other side of the bracket, as there are 4 teams remaining in the Women's College World Series is Tennessee and Texas. We're going to break down the men's bracket a little bit later, but a lot of SEC flavor, although LSU and Vanderbilt didn't even make the tournament this year for baseball. And Tennessee has been ousted. Arkansas, of course, has been ousted. But there are some other teams who are in action today, like Kentucky still has a chance to advance. A&M has a chance to advance. Auburn has a chance to advance. Georgia, Mississippi State, Ole Miss have already advanced. Has Texas, as has Alabama. So yeah, SEC they've got some talent over there. But yeah,
By the
number
way,
one's going down.
UCLA, they had their pitcher in softball was almost at 200 pitches.
It's crazy.
It was
how-
unbelievable.
It's crazy how they do that.
Texas Tech. I mean, granted, you had Nigel Kennedy who just pitches every single
rubber arm
game. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Shout out to Texas Tech though. Hopefully they can get it done. Get a little Big 12 flavor in there for the softball side of things. That could be fun. You have 2 Big 12 national champions. You got Texas Tech maybe on the women's side, and then Kansas on the men's side as well. Hey, Case of Mondays for MAC fans. Which one? I'll tell you. The MAAC, the MAAC. They have officially changed their name.
Finally,
I was on this.
We've been tracking this forever.
We have been tracking this forever, and it's finally happening. They are changing to the Metro. The Metro Conference. I like it.
I don't like it.
They used to be called the Metro back in the 70s.
Yeah, man, and they have a nice blurry logo to remind you of that time.
Well, okay. Do you like? I mean, I don't know. Why don't you? Would you rather they stick with the Mac?
What's wrong with the Mac?
Because there's already a Mac.
Fine, that's fine.
There's already a Mac. You can't have a Mac and then a Mac. Because then you go, which one?
Man, the Metro Conference back in the day.
Whenever we're talking about Mac,
had Virginia Tech and South Carolina and Louisville and Cincinnati.
Yeah, some big time
back
stuff.
in '85. Wow,
which is cool. But yeah, now they have like Siena and St. Peter's.
Yeah,
Iona.
Yeah,
Iona? Niagara also in there. Don't tell me
Canisius,
Vermont.
I think Vermont is not.
Where
Vermont
are they in the Colonial?
MEAC,
I
think.
MEAC. Yeah, they're in. No, is it UMBC?
That is crazy, though. Look at the bracket back in 1985, the Metro Conference. It was Memphis State, now Memphis, against Southern Miss,
awesome.
Louisville against South Carolina, Cincinnati against Tulane, Florida State against Virginia Tech. That conference kind of slaps, man. I like it.
That is a fun conference. I like the Metro, though. I like the fact that they've changed it. They needed to do that. It had been way too long, and you've been riding on the coattails of Maction, the real Mac. I'm referring, because I always refer to it as the real Mac and then the Mac.
The Metro Conference.
But now it's just the Metro.
Yeah.
And I think it's a fun, catchy name. It's I don't know. I think it's better.
Well, I'm glad that we can finally tie the loose ends on that because we have been tracking it for a while.
Also, it was honestly, it was super, I guess, predictable, probably. I mean, they used to be called the Metro.
Yeah.
And then changed it to the Mac. And so you're like, all right, well, probably going to go back to the Metro. But they have a nice new logo, which is fun. Hey, case of the Mondays for NCAA rules officials. UCLA quarterback Carson Gordon is planning to enter the NCAA transfer portal. Now, I know what you're thinking. Hey, didn't the football transfer portal close 3 months ago? It did. But guess what? Carson Gordon is not going to be entering the transfer portal as a football player, but a track athlete. That's right, folks. He has found a loophole.
He's also going to conveniently play football.
He's going to conveniently play football wherever he decides to transfer for track. How has nobody thought of this before? Like, you could literally
anybody could do that.
You could just go. You just go wherever.
Yeah.
If you become a dual sport athlete,
this is going to be the next thing that happens.
Absolutely.
Seriously. This is going to be the next thing is guys who aren't even on rosters for Olympic sports because the portal's open. They're going to go in and they're going to say, "Oh, I'm also going to play basketball." By the way,
absolutely. Or they're going to be like, they're going to go to their swim and dive coach and be like, "Hey, open up a roster spot for Milan Momcilovic," or what? You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like it's so stupid, and I don't know. It's really dumb. I hate it. But I mean, that's the thing about rules. Again, I don't know. They need to take all the NCAA rules officials, lock them in a room for 2 months with food and water, probably, and and say, don't come out until you have created a NCAA transfer portal rule book that is the size of War and Peace. That's what you need. Because guess what? They keep on, oh, well, here's a rule here. And then loophole. Okay, well, then we'll change it here. Loophole again. Everyone's going to try to find loopholes. That's why people hire agents and lawyers, because they try to do this stuff. It works. It absolutely works. And Carson Gordon is going to run track somewhere, but he's also going to play football. I mean, that's just the way of the world. So, I don't know how nobody's really thought about it until now. Whatever. He's taken advantage of it. Good for him. But yeah, I don't know. Do you like it or no?
I don't hate it. I just think props. I guess I don't know. Props to him for.
Every time I see a loophole.
Yeah.
Every time I see a loophole, I go, okay.
Yep.
You win.
We haven't discussed. You mentioned Mommy. We haven't discussed the transfer portal in a while. Tunde Yesufu to St. John's.
Yeah.
Juke Harris to Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Mommy is out of the NBA draft. He's going to be going somewhere here in. I don't know how Louisville still has money, but I'm hearing Louisville is in the game. Kentucky is in the game. Arizona.
It's starting
in the
to get
game.
sad for Kentucky. Like I'm almost kind of like rooting for them to get him, just because it's starting to really get sad for them. Like they don't have anybody.
They got Zoom Diallo, and that's and that's the start.
Zoom Zoom.
But yeah, we'll get back to some college basketball chatter here at some point.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, case of the Mondays for Sun Belt Conference fans, because I feel like there's a little bit of bamboozling going on in the Sun Belt Conference. So we actually have a picture of this. Elijah, if you can pull up the Sun Belt thing. So the Sun Belt Conference, they announced that their Sun Belt Championship game is going to be hosted on Friday, December 4th. And if you take a good look at it, sorry if you're listening on ESPN Kansas City or on any of our audio platforms, but the Sun Belt Football Championship, they have a logo, and on top it says Credit Union 1, and it says SBC Football Championship, and at the bottom it says Pensacola, Florida. So when you look at this, Sean, where do you think this game is going to be played?
If I had to guess.
If you had to guess.
I would say Pensacola.
You would think. But no, it's actually sponsored by Visit Pensacola. In fact, the primetime matchup will feature the championship of the conference's Eastern and Western divisions and will be played at the site of the divisional winner with the best overall conference record. They're playing it as a home game. It's sponsored by Pensacola, Florida.
Sponsored by Credit Union 1.
There's Credit Union 1 sponsors it, and at the very bottom it says Pensacola, Florida.
That would have been really cool.
You go, hey, that makes sense.
Yeah, there's a comment on this Twitter post that says, "Oh boy, I can't wait to take my family to Pensacola for the game. Booking the rooms now."
It's so great. It's so great.
I don't get it. So Pensacola is sponsoring the event?
The city of Pensacola is sponsoring the Sun Belt Conference Championship, and it's not going to be hosted in Pensacola, Florida.
Maybe it's a logo problem. Maybe they need to fix the logo.
That's the thing. Why would you put it? Why would you allow this to happen? Or if you're going to allow this to happen, if you're going to allow Pensacola, Florida to sponsor your entire Sun Belt Conference Championship, guess what? Play the game in Pensacola, Florida. Doesn't that make sense?
I guess they didn't think they could get enough people there, which is probably fair. Probably got to host it at a conference site.
No,
I don't like hosting it at home, but it might be the only way you fill the stands.
No, people would travel. There's some Sun Belt fans out there.
All right,
Fun Belt. It's the Fun Belt, dude.
Every
they'll go. They'll
every
travel.
conference has to have a nickname like that.
They'll travel to Pensacola, I'm sure. How many people do you think are? This is actually how over under 15. No, it's got to be higher. Because that's big. I mean, that is a bad thing. Over under 50 people book a plane ticket to Pensacola, Florida.
Oh, man. I'm saying under.
Under?
Yeah.
Okay, where do you think the line is?
I think,
you know there's going to be some people who do it.
Probably, yeah.
I guarantee you. There's going to be somebody.
Yeah, I don't think you're far off with 50.
That's what I'm saying.
Maybe 30.
Like 50's not a crazy number.
Yeah,
like
there are going to be some.
If
who's
6,000
in the Sun Belt these days? Jacksonville State.
Yeah.
Their fans are maybe going to.
Georgia Southern, I think, is in the Fun Belt.
Georgia State as well.
Georgia State. Is West Florida? No, they're in something else.
West Florida.
They bumped up to.
Did they?
No, they bumped up to SCS. I'm sorry.
We were right. Also, App State, Marshall.
That makes sense.
Old Dominion, James Madison, Coastal Carolina, Troy, Southern Miss, Louisiana, Texas State, South Alabama, and the University of Louisiana,
Lafayette.
Monroe.
Oh, Monroe. So there's no Florida teams in the Sun Belt.
There's also, that is correct.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
There's also no Texas teams in the Big 12 except for Baylor and Texas Tech at TCU.
Yeah. Well, but there's no Missouri teams in the Big 12, and they host the Big 12 basketball championship. So that's not that crazy.
Yeah.
Right?
Am I
crazy? Am I crazy? Or should the Sun Belt be hosted in Pensacola, Florida?
Alaskan voters on here. Dan Sullivan.
Yeah, I got my finger on the pulse. It's Case of Mondays for Alaskan voters. So apparently there's this is just one of the weirdest things that I've seen in my life. So apparently there's like a state Senate race for Alaska. And the man who has the Senate seat right now is running for re-election. His name is Dan Sullivan, right? Well, there is a new emerging person. Actually, let me back up. So the person who is re-running for his seat, his name is Dan Sullivan. Now, he often gets
The incumbent.
The incumbent. He often gets mistaken for the Anchorage mayor, whose name is also Dan Sullivan, right? So there is a state senator named Dan Sullivan, and the mayor of Anchorage, Alaska. His name is Dan Sullivan. Well, now there is a man who is running against Dan Sullivan, the Senate incumbent, as the rival political party, whose name is, guess what? Dan Sullivan. There are 3 Dan Sullivans. 2 of them are running against each other.
Wait, who's the third?
So there's a mayor. The mayor of Anchorage.
But he is just the mayor of Anchorage.
He's just the mayor of Anchorage.
Not involved.
But
Okay.
I guess there's been a long-standing thing in Alaska where there's a senator named Dan Sullivan and a mayor named Dan Sullivan, and then now there is a new guy who's running against Dan Sullivan for the Senate seat, also named Dan Sullivan.
You know that before this guy decided to run, his family and friends, who were
the funniest thing
at all having a thumbprint on politics, said you need to start running.
You got to. You have to.
Yeah, this article from Tim Balk on nytimes.com. First sentence says, in Alaska this election season, the biggest supporters of Dan Sullivan could be the biggest antagonists of Dan Sullivan. The field of contenders challenging Senator Dan S. Sullivan, a Republican who is up for re-election, has grown in recent days with a rather befuddling addition. Dan J. Sullivan, a former educator of no known relation who has entered the race.
But then
absolutely, this is a family and friends thing.
Oh,
everybody
absolutely.
knows there's 2 Dan Sullivans, and this guy was also named Dan Sullivan, also in Alaska, and his family and friends told him, you need to run for something.
You got to run against Dan Sullivan. It's great. It's so great. It's so great. And then there's also the other Dan Sullivan, who's the mayor of Anchorage.
Theorists who said that
it's all the same guy.
No, not that it's the same guy, but that it was a plant, I'm sure. People are saying it's a plant just to deter people from voting for Dan Sullivan, incumbent Dan Sullivan.
That actually makes... Oh, that's
too many people are named Dan, I think, is the problem.
Yeah.
Shout out to Dan. Have an original name.
Shout out to all the Dans out there. Dan Sullivan. Oh, man. That's so great. Like, how do you even...
this is the type of stuff that gets me, though. I would read up on this.
Oh, I know. It's so much fun. It's just like, that's so weird. Like, how are there 3 Dan Sullivans, all of them running for office in Alaska?
How are there even 3 Dan Sullivans in Alaska?
That's crazy. I didn't know there were that many people in Alaska, let alone 3 Dan Sullivans. That's unbelievable. Hey, case of the Mondays for Arsenal. And you're probably wondering, hey, why? They won the English Premier League for the first time since, I want to say like 2006. But they won the English Premier League. Really exciting stuff. Arsenal fans go crazy. But if you know anything about European soccer, there's also the Champions League as well. So Arsenal is playing in the Champions League after they won the EPL.
How long is the gap?
So it's not long.
Yeah.
Because they won the English Premier League, and then like 2 or 3 days later, they play against Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League, and they wind up losing in the Champions League final to Paris Saint-Germain.
They go down
PSG
to Paris Saint-Germain
and lose. PSG holds the trophy. And Elijah, we have a thing on this on Arsenal too. They held the English Premier League parade after the day after they lost to Paris Saint-Germain, and that is the saddest looking bunch of guys I have ever seen in my life. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah, whose idea was this?
I know you gotta do it, and you gotta space it out. Or I'll say Barstool Big Cat had it. Like at least host it like a week after.
Yeah. So you're more entrenched in European soccer. What's kind of the hierarchy of?
So the Champions League is the big one.
Yeah, okay.
So that goes throughout. So like PSG, that's the Paris League. They play in the Paris League.
Yeah.
EPL is the European League. They have the La Liga, which is the Spanish league. They have an Italian league too. And so all of these different leagues play against each other in the Champions League.
Okay.
Yes.
And somebody decided to schedule a parade for the day. I mean, that's
so
just
here's essentially what it is.
Etching your fate, man.
Yeah,
It's stone.
It's not necessarily like this, but what I would compare it to is like winning the Big 12 title and then losing in the national
NCAA.
championship, but then having a parade for the Big 12 title the day after you lose the
Yeah.
NCAA championship.
Yeah.
Like that's
tough scene.
That's not great. You can't. That's unfortunate. Hey, last one here. This is just one of the wildest things I've ever seen in my life, and completely, by the way, disavow this case of the Mondays for sportsmanship enjoyers. Did you see this? So this happened.
Was this the Jesus Sanchez?
Jesus Sanchez.
Jesus Sanchez, the right fielder for the Jays, which is not what this is, had a ball thrown at him from a fan, and then somebody went on Twitter and basically said, jail this person. But it turns out it was a kid, and the kid thought that Jesus Sanchez wanted to play catch and whatever. Anyway, but no, this is different.
Yeah, this is different. This actually happened in Kansas City. So a team from Oklahoma City comes up to Kansas City and plays in one of these big kind of youth tournaments. This was a 12-year-old. And apparently, these teams have been chirping at each other. These 12-year-old teams have been chirping at each other all game, and the parents were getting into it, and the coaches were getting all upset. And there's a video. We can't play it because there's a lot of swear words. Not FCC regulated. But apparently the coach of the Oklahoma team, his son was on the mound, and the coach told his son to fire a fastball into the dugout while he was on the mound.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a video of it. Fired it in. Umpire says, all right, now that's ball game. Everybody goes. They give the coach, who is the kid's dad, a lifetime ban, and they gave the kid a 5-year ban from the league.
I mean, 5 years is a little steep for a kid.
That's
a 12-year-old kid who's listening to his dad.
That's
I agree.
the
He
thing.
shouldn't have done it. He should have gotten a couple games.
Well, and I don't think he's not banned from baseball forever.
Right.
But he's banned from that league for 5 years. So until he's 17 years old, that kid can't play in that league
that's
anymore.
rough. I mean, but we all, when we were growing up, even when we were, 12, 13, 14, maybe even younger, had an experience where emotions got the best of us. You know?
Absolutely.
I don't think that.
But his dad told him to do it. Like, that's the thing.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I don't think that he should be suspended for this long because, I mean, you're only a kid for so long. And, like, we all have bad emotions. We play emotion games. Maybe you make mistakes and you get technical fouls or you get thrown out or anything like that. I think 5 years is ridiculous. But this goes into the whole, with his dad telling him to do it, the whole adults ruining kids' sports.
Absolutely. Adults always ruin kids' sports. And if you have ever been tossed out of a kids' baseball game or basketball game or whatever, I look at you differently. Like, that is, I spent, was it 8? Yeah, no. 7 years of my life being an umpire and also a referee for basketball. I refereed football games, flag football games, all throughout high school and college. And the parents are the absolute worst. And there are quite a few parents who, to this day, if they try to talk to me, like, I'm going to look down on you because you are you need to control yourself. Look, you're living vicariously through your kid or whatever. I don't know. Doesn't matter. You need to be able to control yourself, right? And this is just a prime example of getting to a boiling point. Like, this guy should never be allowed to go to a baseball game again. The coach. The coach should never be allowed.
I'm with you on that. And to be clear, I understand with the kid, the 12-year-old, somebody could get hurt. Hopefully nobody did, and that's the most important thing. But yeah, my initial reaction was 5 years. That's a little rough.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing is, like,
don't take away.
Are you going to say, like you're 12 years
listen
old,
to his dad.
Your dad is your coach, and your dad says fire it into the dugout? Like, are you going to say no? Like, you should, but also it's your dad. Like, you can't really. So yeah, I don't know. It's a dad problem for sure. Awful stuff.
I'm sure there's like an appeal process and all that, but yeah, that's no fun. Case of the Mondays for today. Hope that you guys enjoyed that. We really enjoyed being at Hoglund Ballpark. We're going to go back to Allen Fieldhouse as yesterday, after a 13-10 victory over Arkansas that sent Kansas baseball to the Super Regionals for the first time ever, Dan Fitzgerald, as well as KU players, met with the media. We're going to hear more from Coach Fitz right after this. ESPN Kansas City, KansasNation.com.
Hey, Kansas fans, Coach Bill Self here, and you're watching KansasNation.com.
Ultimate pool party sale at Family Leisure. Let us help you create the ultimate outdoor space. Jump into summer with exceptional deals on pools. Enhance the party with goggles, pool floats, toys, and outdoor games at guaranteed lowest prices. Dozens of in-stock sun loungers to choose from. Multiple shade solutions to choose from. Spas and swim spas at unbeatable prices. Add the finishing touch with an outdoor kitchen or pool grill. Ultimate pool party sale going on right now at Family Leisure.
This is SSJ. Winter in Kansas City doesn't mean your lawn takes a break. It means smart homeowners get a head start. Let David and his crew from Custom Lawn and Landscape prepare your yard for a greener, healthier spring with winter fertilization, soil conditioning, and pre-emergent treatments that stop weeds before they start. Because when the snow melts, you don't want to start fixing your lawn. You want to already be winning. Trust Custom Lawn and Landscape, treating your yard now so it looks incredible later. Visit CustomLawn.com to schedule your winter services today.
Haney and the Hawks is presented by Jefferson's with 2 Lawrence locations. Home of the best wings in town, 21 signature sauces. You got to check them out. But if wings aren't your thing, how about a burger? They hand patty their certified Angus beef every single day. Also hand bread their tenders. They make their ranch in-house. There is truly something for everybody at Jefferson's. Go see my buddy Brandon Graham and the entire crew at Jefferson's, either on Mass or Wakarusa in Lawrence, Kansas.
Rock Chalk Sports, getting your week started here, kansasnation.com, live on Facebook, live on YouTube. If you miss anything, check us out on YouTube, on kansasnation.com. All of our episodes will be up there. And, of course, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. And you can watch our shows on YouTube as well. Appreciate everybody liking, commenting, subscribing. Helps us out a lot. KU baseball defeats Arkansas. They sweep their way through the Lawrence Regional. What a fun time it was. And now we await the winner of Georgia Tech and Oklahoma going on right now to see KU's fate for the Super Regionals. First, let's enjoy last night's post-game press conference. Here's head baseball coach Dan Fitzgerald.
Yeah, Patrick Eber with D1 Baseball. Coach, I want to start where the players just left off with Manning West and just that third inning, getting out of that jam, and then going into the fourth and responding with a 1-2-3 frame after that big 6-run scoring barrage in the top of the frame. Could you just talk about that importance of that swing right there?
Well, it was huge. We needed someone to bridge to Ritter and Bodie, and we knew they were limited in their pitches. They both felt great coming into today, and our training staff did an incredible job getting those two ready to pitch. And we've got all kinds of science where we're testing the arms, and it's giving us feedback on, hey, these guys are good. But we also knew, hey, we have to be smart and limit that. So we really needed someone to bridge between, the plan was Matisse, then Toby, and then Manning, and then Cannon Carr was in there too. And Manning just got hot, and that cutter was disgusting tonight, and he was able to get it underneath some barrels. And the impressive thing, is that he did it striking out one guy. And to go 3 innings through that lineup and only give up 1 run with 1 punch out it means you're really pitching. So couldn't be more proud of him. He is he's such a great competitor and such a great teammate. What a moment for Manning.
Dan, same thing on Osoria. What did you make of his night?
Yeah, just couldn't be more proud of him. He's just the consummate professional. He shows up every day and works, and it hasn't always been easy. And he needed to play second base tonight, and the confidence that he played it with was incredible. He barked at Dykhoff on that 4-hole play that Josh went for. He came back in the dugout. He said, "You cover first. I've got that," which I thought was just unbelievable confidence in a guy that plays with. He's just such a pro, and he cares at such a high level, and couldn't be more proud of him. And we needed that home run, by the way. Like, we were down 5-0. He goes home run, and then we go single, home run. So that was a huge stretch. And by the way, he did it after a punch out. So it was with 1 out.
Do you feel that from your guys when Tyson said, he picked them up tonight? Do you feel that in the dugout when it's about to happen like that?
Yeah. These guys are so connected and so tight, and there are a bunch of parts in the game where, I think, man, should I be saying something? And it's like, no, they've got it. They're saying plenty.
How much notice does he get knowing he's going to start at second tonight? How that process?
I checked with Cade minutes before going to home plate. I had the lineup up, but it wasn't, he didn't have much of a heads up. Yeah. But he just keeps working, and he takes ground balls there every day and has worked every single day like he's going to go out there and start. So I didn't even think to talk to him about it. I just posted the lineup and.
Henry Greenstein, Lawrence Journal World. How did you make the decision to get Matisse earlier than maybe you would usually, because it ended up being pretty important?
Yeah, it just, I don't know, Henry, it just wasn't coming out the way that it normally does. It just didn't have the bite on the slider. The fastball didn't have the life that it normally has, and just knew that offense is so explosive. I mean, you just look through, you look through the middle of their lineup, and they go 5 home runs, 20 home runs, 16, 14, 4, 4, 9, 2, 15. I mean, it's double digit in 4 or 5 spots, and we just knew there was very little wiggle room and couldn't let it get away from us.
And then you've seen the whole arc of how the fan support has grown to become what it is now. What was it like sharing the moment with them as you guys advanced through the round?
Well, as many of you know, I'm not very often speechless, and I didn't really know what to say. I mean, I was just overwhelmed. I was completely overwhelmed with this entire weekend. I joked about it yesterday, but I was serious. You coach long enough, and your emotions get pretty frayed, and I don't get scared during movies anymore, and my hair does not stand up on my arms, and it stood up all weekend. I could not believe how cool the backyard turned out. Our student section is palpable, and no one left. It's the greatest thing ever. We finished the game, we look up, and everyone is still there. So yeah, it was a surreal moment.
Jordan Guskey, Topeka Capital Journal. Did you make any decisions today knowing that if you lost, you had a game tomorrow to fall back on?
Yes. There were guys that we had in the wings, who would have had to pitch tomorrow. I think we got to a spot in the game where we had the lead and just cashed in the chips, saying we're using Ritter and Ray. So I think the decision there going into the game was we're going to see where we're at, knowing that we had 2 shots to win. But once we got the lead and once we extended the lead, at that point I just went all in on this one. Yeah, but there were things leading up. There's a lot of time between 6 a.m. and first pitch. That's a lot of time to think, and you think through every single possible scenario. So yeah, there were a few of them.
Noah Darling, College Baseball Central. Coach, Cade Baldridge in the lineup today. You already touched on it a little bit. Curious if you have an update on it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go NHL here. Just upper body injury. So he wanted to play. He probably could have played. I almost put him in the 7th, and then when we extended the lead, and that was a hard one because that's an incredible offensive player, defensive player, base runner, glue guy, and so to have him out today was tough. But obviously the right decision because we won, and now he's got some more time to rest.
I've noticed post-game here just about every weekend after you win a series or sweep, and tonight was no different. Families emerge on the field. Just walk me through what that means to you.
Maybe you guys can fast forward through that long pause. Yeah, that's my my faith in my family, and my faith, my family, and trying to win baseball games, and to share it with them is incredible. And Will and Ben get to experience quite a bit, and to have Max and Kelly there, to have them there last weekend, and yeah, it's it's really special. So Noah, that's your one question on reflection. You don't get another one because I have a hard time keeping it together here. But yeah, that was unbelievably special.
You had said before the regional that Solis would play a role at some point. He ends up getting the start today and had an RBI against his former team. Just what do you think of him getting the chance to do that?
No, what a stud. I was so proud of Max tonight. I actually told Max about 5 minutes before the game, 10 minutes before the game, said, hey, if Cade can't go, you're DHing. And he was super confident. I thought he had great at-bats all night. The base hit was huge, and he just battled through it. I mean, he had 5 at-bats tonight, and 4 of them were outstanding. He had the one opportunity to move the guy and didn't, but I love the intent on it. And again, a guy that's just continued to work while he's waiting. And yeah, I'm super proud of Max.
Gary Bedore, KC Star, 25th come from behind win.
Gosh.
You were down 5-0. Did you still think, we got this? And B, how important, how great is it to win 25 come from behind games?
That's a trick question, Gary. It's not as great as it sounds sometimes, because I'd like to have a few more where we weren't behind. But they are, I was super confident down 5-0. And in fact, I had this weird moment during the game, the 2021 regional at DBU. We beat Oregon State to go to the Supers, and we were down 5-0. And I had one of those flashback moments of like, oh, I've been here before, and then I literally had the thought of, and we've been here before like 20 some times. And I just knew that we just needed someone to punch it through, and we needed the crowd. Like, the crowd was incredible, but we needed to give them something. They were just waiting for something, so yeah, the come from behind thing. Baseball is a weird sport that it's 9 innings and there's no clock, and so it's the torture of baseball is that there's no clock. It's also the greatest part of baseball is that there's literally no clock. We could still be playing now, and so the guys just never quit. They believe, they love each other, and those guys know how to grind, and it's an honor to be their coach.
You talked about Tyson's power yesterday. I won't make you do that again, but maybe it's the same answer. He's got a clutch gene too. I mean, it seems like when he gets up in those moments, you almost know he's going to deliver before it even happens.
Yeah.
Do you feel that same way?
Yeah. It's unbelievable his just ability to stay in the moment, and it's so fun watching a player just continue to take jumps, and he's on such an ascent, and he just gets better every time out. He's so accountable. He's such a great worker, and his approach at the plate is so he just does not come off it, and his focus is incredible, and he's going to be playing baseball for a long time.
Coach, Greg Eklund, Kansas Public Radio. How would you sum up the significance of being the first Kansas baseball team to advance to a super regional?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's a great question. Those are the ones that probably need some time in August to really comprehend it, because right now my brain just flips to Georgia Tech or OU, and who do we need to prepare for, and how do we start that scout tonight, and how deep do we get into both, and so I think taking this job, there was a shared vision, and certainly Travis and Sean and everyone here. The thing that I remember so clearly in my interview of how prepared and how clearly KU had a plan for what was this unknown future of NIL and all these new things. And I just knew that, hey, I don't know that anyone knows what the roadmap is, but these people really have one that they're following. And so as we've gotten into this was certainly, if someone had said, write down all the things you want to accomplish, this certainly would have been something, regional championship at home, new left field fence, that definitely would have been on the list. But the significance of it, this is, for me, the special part is last night seeing guys from my first year, because those guys, the building block of a Collier Cranford and a Cole Elvis and Jake English staying and Jake Baker staying, and building that foundation in year one, and then the guys in year two building that. And so I think the significance is you're seeing guys that are reconnecting to the program. So many former players here, and having the time of their lives watching the guys do what they used to do. So I think it's probably bigger than my brain can really think of right now, because I'm just thinking about what we need to do tomorrow. But yeah, it's a pretty special moment.
No, darling, College Baseball Central, you just took the question out of my mouth. What do the next 24 hours look like for you? You don't know who you're playing. You don't know where it's going to be.
Yeah, I'm going to enjoy every second of this, and yeah, just spend time with my family. And I told Kelly, I said the best part of this, we don't have to play tomorrow, and just to be able to take a deep breath and enjoy it. My in-laws are in town. My mom and brother were in town. They left last night. So yeah, just enjoy some time with family. These guys need to rest, and that's a lot of baseball. And you think about the stretch of, playing 3 games at a conference tournament and turn around and do it again. So it's rest and recover, and I guarantee that my staff is already in process of getting the skeleton done for both of those teams. Then we'll obviously watch that game tomorrow and get a plan.
All right. Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
That's head coach Dan Fitzgerald. KU sweeps their way through the Lawrence Regional. They knock off Arkansas in successive days, 13-10 yesterday. It was 5-3 on Saturday. Of course, Kansas opened the Lawrence Regional with a 6-3 win over Northeastern, and now we wait the fates. The good thing is Kansas, no matter who they face, is going to have this extra day of rest, to Nick Springer's point. We're going to be right back out there Friday against a quality opponent, whoever it is.
Yeah, whoever's going to be. Like I said, keep a close eye on that Georgia Tech OU game. Obviously, it's going on right now. We are pre-recording the show just because, it's college baseball games can go for just 4 hours every single time is what it seems like. Yesterday was a long game, but a fun game too. So hopefully we're gonna be cheering on Oklahoma, just so Kansas is able to host a super regional for the first time in program history. But this Jayhawk team, they're really hot right now, and Springer said it best. When you get to this point in the season, you kind of throw all the analytics and the records and everything out the window, right? It's similar to the NCAA tournament in basketball, where anything can happen. Milwaukee is a great example of that.
Yeah.
They wind up beating Auburn. They were 5-22 at one point. They got run ruled like 10 times this year, and then they come out, you throw everything out the window, and if you're just playing good baseball, which Kansas is doing right now, they're hitting bombs. The pitching staff is pitching really well. I understand Georgia Tech is a very good baseball team, but Kansas is playing some of the best baseball in all of America right now. So, I like our guys, and the all-tournament team just came out, which is really exciting. So yeah, I like I said, I like our guys.
Yeah, and the all-tournament team has a lot of Jayhawks, 5 of them. Unsurprisingly, Tyson LeBlanc named Lawrence Regional Most Outstanding Player. He hit .455. He slugged over 1,300, 1.364 slugging percentage. He had the 3 homers, 1 in each game, 8 RBIs, 4 runs, 4 walks. This dude is just a player. He's going to be a very high draft pick in the MLB draft, as will Dom Vagley, who will toe the slab on Friday, seemingly, for Kansas in the first game of the Super Regionals. He went 7 strong innings, set the single-season strikeout record at Kansas in the victory over Northeastern. Brady Ballinger, Dariel Osoria, and Dylan Schlotterback as well on the Lawrence Regional All-Tournament team.
Did you vote for Tyson as most outstanding
Yes.
player? So did I.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Great job. I love
That's
it.
good. I didn't realize you were a voter too.
Had to happen. Yeah, dude.
That's
Shout out
awesome.
to Chris Tyson, who does
Shout
a great
out.
job sending
Thanks, CT.
all of us everything. Don't usually get to talk with CT this time of year, man.
I know.
But he's helping out. All the
great.
guys over at KU Athletics in terms of media liaisons are helping out Brandon Perrell, who does a great job for KU baseball throughout the season, and, of course, had a couple extra items on his plate for postseason baseball. KU to the Super Regionals for the first time ever. After this, we are going to take a more holistic look at the NCAA tournament, talk about who is remaining. It's time to start looking forward at potential paths as Kansas really tries to make a run at a national championship. in baseball. What a special season it's been. Special tenure for Coach Fitz. More coming up. ESPN Kansas City, kansasnation.com.
What's up? I'm Bodie Ray with Kansas Baseball, and you're watching Kansas Nation.
This is SSJ. Winter in Kansas City doesn't mean your lawn takes a break. It means smart homeowners get a head start. Let David and his crew from Custom Lawn and Landscape prepare your yard for a greener, healthier spring with winter fertilization, soil conditioning, and pre-emergent treatments that stop weeds before they start. Because when the snow melts, you don't want to start fixing your lawn. You want to already be winning. Trust Custom Lawn and Landscape, treating your yard now so it looks incredible later. Visit CustomLawn.com to schedule your winter services today.
Ultimate pool party sale at Family Leisure. Let us help you create the ultimate outdoor space. Jump into summer with exceptional deals on pools. Enhance the party with goggles, pool floats, toys, and outdoor games at guaranteed lowest prices. Dozens of in-stock sun loungers to choose from. Multiple shade solutions to choose from. Spas and swim spas at unbeatable prices. Add the finishing touch with an outdoor kitchen or pool grill. Ultimate pool party sale going on right now at Family Leisure.
Hi there, Gary Joslin with Joslin's Jewelry. I'm not the class ring company. I'm a mom and pop jewelry store for 42 years. We were recently voted the gold medal #1 jewelry store in the greater Kansas City area by Ingram's Magazine. Come see us at Joslin's Jewelry, 9529 Antioch. Joslin's Jewelry, the jeweler you'll recommend to your friends and family.
Joslin's Jewelry, for the best that's yet to come.
Custom Lawn and Landscape, partners of us here at Kansas Nation. They have been great partners of us all season long, sponsoring KU baseball, and they've got a lot of great deals that we'll tell you about. Custom Lawn, of course, Dan will be the first to tell you, you don't want a weedy, patchy yard.
No.
You want a lush and plush yard.
You don't.
That's what they have over at Custom Lawn and Landscape with over 40 years of experience serving Johnson County. They're excited to now be serving Lawrence and Kansas City as well. You can get your first application absolutely free. Plus, their expert grub control is guaranteed to prevent lawn damage before it even starts. Custom Lawn and Landscape.
You really don't want me doing that live read.
I just, the lush plush
It's always
is too
so
much.
fun. I
Lush
wasn't even going to say the word lush or plush.
Yes, you were.
No,
there was no way that you
Let
were
me do
not
it
going to
tomorrow.
be able to.
Let me do it tomorrow.
I'll consider considering it. Check NCAA.com. We're looking at the Division I baseball official bracket, Daniel. A lot of games happening today, tonight, that, leave some questions to be answered. But we do have a couple matchups set. And, of course, we've got 6 to be determined still today. So, as of right now, there are 10 teams in the Super Regionals with 6 open spots. Of course, pre-recording the show, so we don't know for absolutely sure, but a couple of surprises as expected in a bracket format.
Yeah, absolutely right. Cal Poly coming out of the Los Angeles Regional. Obviously, UCLA got eliminated yesterday by St. Mary's, and then Cal Poly beat St. Mary's. So Cal Poly advances. They're going to be playing the winner of the rubber match between West Virginia and Kentucky. West Virginia won in incredible fashion yesterday, forcing a Monday. So that'll be really exciting. That West Virginia, Kentucky is going to face off against Cal Poly. You also have Little Rock advancing out of the Southern Miss Regional. Southern Miss just absolutely wet the bed, and Little Rock, they played some really good baseball. They had 0 losses. They went ahead and swept in Hattiesburg. They're going to be playing off against the winner of Florida versus Troy. That game is going to be going on tonight, I believe, at 5 o'clock. I saw Reddit CFP tweeted this out. There's a chance for 3 different Trojans to be
that's right.
to be, because you got Little Rock, Troy, and USC.
And those are the only Trojans, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there are some mascot Trojans somewhere else.
Oh no,
College,
I was going to say Michigan State Spartans.
Athletics.
That could have been
Trojans mascots. I think that's the only 3.
Ancient Greek people would kill me if I said
USC, Troy, Little Rock. Yeah, the only other one I see is Dakota State University.
How could I forget? Dakota State.
Okay, you have to guess where they're located.
I'm going to say North Dakota.
Nope, 50-50, you lost. South Dakota. Madison, South Dakota, Dakota State University. The Trojans, they are not still participating in the baseball bracket.
Womp womp.
They are not Division I.
Oh, well. But yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. Florida's a really good ball program, but Troy's been playing some good ball lately. UNC, they advanced. They swept in Chapel Hill. They are playing really good ball right now. They're playing better ball than really anybody except for KU right now. They're going to be playing against the winner of Texas A&M and USC, so that'll be a fun game that's going on today as well. Ole Miss advanced out of Nebraska's regional after Nebraska wet the bed. Arizona State, by the way, Rainson, he got ejected and wound up losing to Ole Miss yesterday. I mean, a lot of ejections yesterday, which is really weird. Georgia, they have a nice home run hitter who got ejected yesterday for taunting the Liberty bench. Now he's going to be
Can we just
also
not eject players?
Well, he's suspended for game 1 against Mississippi State. That's one of the ones that's already set as of right now. But Ole Miss is going to take on the winner of Milwaukee and Auburn. That's going on tonight at 5 o'clock, so that'll be a fun game to watch as well. You also have Georgia, like I said, taking on Mississippi State, SEC matchup over there. You also have another one that's already set in stone, Texas facing off against Oregon. That'll be a lot of fun. Oregon's a really good ball club, and then Texas is always really good. Alabama made it out of Tuscaloosa. Florida State, at the time of recording, they're playing in St. John's right now. They have a 2-0 lead. We'll see how that one plays out. Probably going to be Florida State taking on Alabama, and then Kansas takes on the winner of Georgia Tech and Oklahoma.
Yeah, and it's not as much a easy read, I guess, looking at the bracket, because, again, when you get to the College World Series, for anybody who doesn't know, it goes back to the pod, the super regional or the regional type format, rather, where, yes, Kansas will take on the winner of Georgia Tech, Oklahoma, and that's a straight best of 3. Then you have 4 teams on one side, 4 teams on the other side, and I could be mistaken, but it would be basically one side of the bracket against the other. So a lot of options on who it could be, but if Kansas advances to the College World Series, again, you're back to the regional format where it's pod play, double elimination, 4 of you on this side, 4 teams on this side.
Yeah.
When you get to the College World Series championship, it's a straight best of 3. So no matter who it is, it's going to be a challenge for KU. But, of course, we're going to open the show tomorrow talking about KU's next opponent, and then we'll do a deeper dive on them as the season goes on. But, yeah, a lot of SEC teams, as we talked about, Georgia and Mississippi State, they're facing each other, having both advanced out of their regionals that they hosted. Ole Miss is in there. Texas is in there. Alabama is in there. And like you said, some other teams, based on the results today, still have an opportunity, including Florida, Kentucky, Texas A&M. They've all got a chance to represent the SEC. And as for the Big 12, well, Kansas has made it. Yep. And, you know, I guess we'll see if West Virginia can do it as well. But KU showing out. They're the Big 12 regular season champs, the Big 12 tournament champs, and they proved it. They proved their worth over the weekend at Hoglund.
Yeah, UCF and Cincinnati, they wound up getting eliminated. By the way, just a thought, maybe it would have been better if Kansas would have gotten the 16 instead of the 15, because UCLA got eliminated, and then all of a sudden the winner of West Virginia, Kentucky, got to take off, got to go against Cal Poly, who is a good ball club, but Kansas is better, and I can't imagine Cal Poly has the pitching staff to be able to handle a 3-game series. So Georgia Tech's really good. So is OU. I think Kansas is playing the best ball in all of America right now.
And Tyson LeBlanc, probably the best individual of anybody in America right now. 3 straight homers, the Big 12 tournament, most outstanding player, the Lawrence Regional, most outstanding player. It's all about KU baseball. Thanks to everybody for tuning in to a kickoff edition this week on Rock Chalk Sports. We'll be back on the air from 4 to 6, just 1 hour on ESPN Kansas City tomorrow, but you can always catch us full 2 hours, kansasnation.com, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, if you miss anything. For Elijah Schmidt running the cameras, and Dan Courtwright, Sean Kellerman saying thanks for joining us. We'll catch you tomorrow from 4 to 6, ESPN Kansas City, Kansas Nation.
it's Mark Whitlow from Office Products Alliance. OPA is not just your local office products connection. We have expanded our offerings to network cabling installation, security cameras, door access, and IT services. We all need to keep pace with new technologies. You can trust a Kansas City company that has been your partner for 32 years. Check us out at opakc.com. Supporting local businesses and our community is more important than ever.
This is SSJ. Winter in Kansas City doesn't mean your lawn takes a break. It means smart homeowners get a head start. Let David and his crew from Custom Lawn and Landscape prepare your yard for a greener, healthier spring with winter fertilization, soil conditioning, and pre-emergent treatments that stop weeds before they start. Because when the snow melts, you don't want to start fixing your lawn. You want to already be winning. Trust Custom Lawn and Landscape, treating your yard now so it looks incredible later. Visit CustomLawn.com to schedule your winter services today.
We've got Mahindra, the #1 selling farm tractor in the world.
While you're making your spring chores list, put a new Mahindra tractor at the top of it. For a limited time at Heinen Repair and Heinen Outdoor Power Equipment, get 0% financing for 84 months, plus $1,000 cash back on new Mahindra tractors with approved credit. Don't miss out. This offer won't last long. For details, see Heinen Repair, south of Valley Falls, and Heinen Outdoor Power Equipment in Lawrence.
With Heinen, there's always hope for your yard.